So I am here to discuss something about history optional. For last few years, the challenge which students are facing, perhaps maybe teachers also, that history is changing a bit. Obviously, whenever there comes a new ideology, new government, wherever in history, the first thing, or they bring their own set of views on history. Every event has multiple views. The type of government we have, the type of views we have. Obviously, after independence, there must have been a change in history in the perception of our history on British like Clive, Hastings, Lord Curzon, etc. Likewise, for last few years, history in UPSC is also changing because of the change in the members and because of the change in the ideologies. As you could see, or as anyone could feel, earlier the history was a bit of different interpretations, and now the same events are interpreted in a different way. Take for example, there came a question, before that Buddhism, Hinduism or Jainism are different thoughts. Now they focus Buddhism, Jainism, Hinduism are the same things with their different interpretations, different philosophical views, but they are same. Earlier it was focused how Buddhism replied to Brahmanic patriarchy. Now they say how Buddhism is the extension of Upanishad thoughts. So sometimes students are in exam dumbfounded. For example, in medieval they have asked how Alauddin Khilji's market reforms devastated the economy. A problem here is the books which are famous are written on these ideologies, which say Alauddin's market reforms were very good. Buddhism was against Brahmanic patriarchy. How Buddhism challenged or break the challenge of Hinduism. Now they ask how Alauddin Khilji's reforms devastated the rural economy. They ask how Buddhism further extended the thought of Hinduism. Earlier they ask how Hadappans disappeared and then Vedic age appeared. In 2017-19 they asked how the Hadappans and Vedic have similarities. Earlier they asked Hadappans ended and then Vedic civilization started. Now they ask how Hadappans continued into the Vedic or similarities between them. So these are the challenges which students face because the books which they read, Upinder Singh, Romila Thapar, D.N. Jha, R.S. Sharma, Satish Chandra, these books are obviously 90% is same, but the 10% of that is written according to this ideology. Now the ideology is being changed. For example, this ideology says, or this view says, that Indra, Mitra, Varun are the gods of Ved. Puran gave Shiv, Vishnu, Brahma, Durga as the main gods. Old view, or old kya, one view. Another view says how Indra, Mitra, Varun were gods of Rigved. Later Ved made Shiv, Vishnu, Brahma, Ganesh as the main god. All of them are Vedic gods. And these Vedic gods were popularized by Puran. Now question came recently, few years ago, that how, let me quote you the year exactly, 2020 they asked, how Puran were written to make Vedic gods famous. A student who's reading in the books that Shiv, Vishnu, Brahma, Durga, they are the gods of Puran. Indra, Mitra, Vayu, Varun are the gods of Ved. For him this question is a bit unsettling. How Puran could make Vedic gods famous. But if you see this ideology, Purans are the stories of later Vedic gods like Shiv, Vishnu, Brahma, Ganesh. And this question is asked not from any of those books. This question is asked, if you could see, if it is visible, from a commentary on Ved. It is written by Pandit Sriram Sharma Acharya. In Haridwar, there is a Peeth Shanti Kunj. It is the book written by Pandit Sriram Sharma Acharya. Just type Shanti Kunj Haridwar, although obviously it is written in Devanagari. So this says, Itihas Purana Abhya Vedo Samupravam Bhavet. Itihas Purana are written to make Vedic gods famous. And this Itihas Purana, to make Vedic gods famous, is asked 3 times in last 10 years. Earlier, Buddhism and Mahayana was focus. Buddhism and Mahayana. Now Purana, Itihas, Tantrism. These are the focus. Now a student has to do both. He has to learn this also, because this has to be asked. But he has to learn this also. And that's why history optional is now getting a bit of suspicion among the students that questions which are asked and the famous books, they are not in perfect sync. We are reading the views of K.M. Panikkar, Romila Thapar. They are asking the views of R.C. Majumdar. So this change of history, this right shift of history is the most obvious thing which has happened. I could keep on speaking on them. I can keep on telling you what are the views on these. Just for example, Ashok. In 2016, UPSC asked, or 2017, UPSC asked, ki how Ashok's Dhamma is as a Vedic thought. Now imagine these historians, when they must have learned that UPSC asked a question that Ashok's Dhamma is a Vedic thought, it's sort of blasphemy for them. According to them, Ashok's Dhamma is based on Buddhism. They say Ashok's Dhamma is based on Buddhism. So next year UPSC asked how Buddhism is based on Vedic thought. This they asked in 2017, this they asked in 2018. And again they asked 2022 how Buddhism is the extension of Vedic thought. I may jumble up in the year, it may be instead of 16, 17, it's 16, 17, it should be 17. You check these 1-2 years. So UPSC asked how Ashok has Vedic thought, Ashoka's Dhamma is Vedic thought, how Buddhism is Vedic thought. Again they asked how Buddhism is extension of Vedic thought. We are used to learn Ashok is a Buddhist thought. Buddhist thought was against Vedic thought. Ashok Dhamma is also against Vedic thought. I am not saying a student should remember this or that. I am saying a student should be prepared to remember both. For example, if someone asks, after 1947, we changed British policies. You should have 10 points ready for this. And if someone asks, after 1947, we continued British politics, British administration. This is also right, this is also right. Nothing is absolutely different, nothing is absolutely same. So a student should prepare on both the sides. And that's why just giving you a brief introduction, I'm asked not to take more than 20 minutes on how this has to be understood as a whole. So just giving you a small glimpse. Rig Ved made Indra, Vayu, Varun, Mitra, Pushan as the main gods. Later Vedic literature gave primacy to all powerful gods. These were tribals, tribal people wandering, sleeping in the forest. For them, natural forces are the main problem. So their gods were natural forces. Later Vedic people were based on agriculture, reliable food supply. After reliable food supply, the issues like philosophy, who made this world, why I am suffering, what is moksha, all these dominated. All powerful gods. Shiv, Vishnu, Brahma, Durga, Ganesh, Durga. They became main powerful gods. Some books disagree with them. If internet is available, I can show you, which I always show in every class. Rudra Ashtadhyay is in Yajurved. If ever you have a doubt, Yajurved, Rudra Ashtadhyay, Yajurved. First Yajurved, 8 chapters on Rudra. Durga Sukt, Yajurved. So if ever you find in any book it is written, with confidence I can tell you, Durga Suktam, Yajurved. So Durga Sukt is also part of Yajurved. Durga Sukt, Yajurved. So if ever you find any of these doubts, some books mention this because obviously the historians which I have taken name, they are good in the economic part of the history. They are good in what is the economic basis of the history, what is the social basis of Tantrism, what is the material milieu of the rise of Buddhism. They are good at this. But to expect that all the historians will go and read the Ved and will find which god is mentioned in which way, it is a bit difficult. UPSC expect you to know this. And that's why we have to read that side also, this side also. So all of this became Ved. Vedic literature, as we said. Their rituals are Brahmanas. Rituals. Their philosophy and morals are in Aranyak and Upanishad. This all is called Vedic corpus. These are Vedic Samhita. This is entire Vedic, or we can call it Shruti literature. Its explanation is called Vedang. 6 Vedang, body of the Ved. Its further knowledge are called Upaved. I am not starting this, just giving you a brief introduction because I have to explain something which will need this. Its further discussion on philosophy is called Shad Darshan. To make it famous among the masses, its stories were called Puran. Puran. Some forest tribal practices and some of the Vedic practices, magic, became Tantrism. Each of these topic takes obviously more than one class, so I'm not going to describe it here. Tantrism, magic. Agam literature is called Agam. Tantrism is Agamic literature. Its legal interpretation, law, social legal interpretation are called Dharma Sutra. 4 famous Dharma Sutra written in Mahajanpad and later Vedic and Mahajanpad age. Gautam Sutra, Vashishta Sutra, Apastambha Sutra, Bodhayan Sutra. They later became Dharma Shastra, Manusmriti Agyavalk. They became Mitakshar Dayabhag. They became 20th century Hindu personal law code. So if I keep on discussing it, I'm running out of its entire enormous map. Now, just want to explain that this Buddhism, Jainism, which I am interested in, Buddhism and Jainism, where this falls in all of this map. How is Buddhism, Jainism is related? Is it anti or is it according. So going to describe a bit of this, how Buddhism and Jainism is associated with all this. How much it is same, how much it is different. Just want to know, it looks overtly complex. But obviously when we understand, this is the entire ancient history, majority of it. Majority of the themes, if you check last 10 years question papers, in majority of them you will find these things are asked. This is asked 3 times. This is asked obviously 3 times. Shad Darshan, so they love it. In GS they love it. Upanishad, the greatest book according to every right-wing historian, Upanishad. Vedant, end of the Ved. So how all this pans out and where all this falls in? If I have to create a graph of rigidity, rigidity means dominance of rituals and Varna system. Rituals means if I have an exam tomorrow and instead of studying, revising, I am doing some ritual, thinking that some rituals which are unmissable, and doing the rituals are the most important thing more than morality of a human. The same debate, if I have to go to a religious festival and I have to help a poor, so religious festival is more important than helping a poor. And Varna system means if 2 students come to my class, one is Brahman, one is Shudra, I ask Brahman to sit at the front bench, Shudra to sit at the last bench. If they both fight, I give them punishment according to their Varna. That is called rigidity. And another is the time period, the passing time. So first comes Rig Veda. Obviously at the beginning of Rig Veda, there was no division on the basis of birth or on the basis of the profession. Perhaps Varna system itself means Varna, color. It was mainly based on color. Less surplus producing society, less rigidities, less hierarchies. By the end of Rig Veda, we hear Purush Sukt, perhaps added later, or technically we can understand it is added at the end of Rig Veda. Many scholars believe it is added later. For the first time it mentioned 4 Varna. Brahman, Rajan, which is Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. One comes from the head, from the arms, from the thighs and from the feet. Then came later Ved. Later Ved were written. These later Ved further gave rigidities, dominance of rituals, Hiranyagarbha, Ashwamedh, Vajpayee, Purush Medh Yagya, Grih Sutra 16, Sanskar, so many things later Ved gave. Then these later Ved, their rigidity further increased by Brahmanas, ritual manuals of Ved, further rituals, as you could see here, much more rituals in Brahmanas literature. And these Brahmanas literatures, rigidity further increased in Mahajanpad age. Which we call Sutra literature. Dharma Sutra were written. Legal, every aspect of the legal life is dominated by Varna. If a Brahman and Shudra they fight, or Brahman or Vaishya they fight, the punishments are according to their Varna. Punishments differ. Majority of the society is run by the Brahmanic system. Dharma Sutra, legal books. Vedang, further elaboration of Vedic literature and rituals. Upaved, concept of Varna Ashram Dharma. Dharma. Many questions are asked on Varna Ashram Dharma. 4 stages of life have 4 different duties based on 4 different Varna. Too complex and elaborate. Only the graph of the map of that takes the entire board. So these are the Sutra literature, further increasing the rigidities. Now, when these rigidities were kept on increasing in the literature, there appeared a wave, a reaction against this. This reaction was within the Brahmanic fold, within the fold of Hinduism. For example, a government is corrupt. So first some whistleblowers of the same party, they start talking about the corruption. They are the first one to say that there is some corruption. So first revolt against this rigidity, first discussion against this rigidity came from within the Brahmanic fold. Aranyak and Upanishad. This is the first reaction against to reduce the rigidity. King who do better Rajasuya or Hirnigarbh Yagya will not win. The king with truth will win. Satyamev Jayate. Person's father is the one who gives purpose to his life. Giving birth is easy. Likewise, Aranyak and Upanishad. And first Upanishad is Brihadaranya Upanishad. Brihad Aranyak Upanishad. The broader Upanishad. The broader Aranyak. So Upanishad and Aranyak. Philosophy and morals. Within a minute, I'll discuss what is this philosophy and moral. And the second reaction which came from those who left the party, the corrupt government, the members who left the party, they started talking about the corruption. And one can easily imagine, discussion by those who have left the party will be much more intense. Outside the Vedic fold, rejecting the Vedic fold, reducing the rigidity much more. Jainism and Buddhism. They say rituals are not important or rituals are of lesser importance. Human morality is more important, dignity is more important, equality is more important. Rituals are less important. Jainism, Buddhism say rituals are rubbish, absurdity, worthless. So two types of reactions. One from within the Vedic fold, one rejecting the Vedic fold. Ab they are different. This is the Brahmanism as we say. Vedic thought or Brahmanism. Hinduism, whatever you say. You can call it Brahmanism. You could call it Hinduism. You could call it Vedic thought. And that is Jainism, Buddhism. Whenever you have to show Jainism, Buddhism is against the Vedic thought, compare this with this rising line. Whenever you have to say Jainism, Buddhism is extension of Vedic thought, compare Jainism, Buddhism, this line with this falling line. In Vedic thought itself, there are two streams. Increasing the rigidity, reducing the rigidity. This line will go further. It will become Shad Darshan later. Later it will develop as Shad Darshan, 6 schools of philosophy. One more equality, one more. So this is how this goes. Increasing rigidity, reaction against the rigidity, rejection of rigidity. One more equivalence I want you to explain. The debate of karma. To further explain this, how it happens. What is the debate of karma? What is karma? So first came Samhita, 4 Samhita, Rig Ved, Yajur Ved, Sam Ved, Atharva Ved. 4 Samhita. and their ritual manuals. Brahmanas. I know those who are not very well versed with this, it may look confusing. Just giving you a simple idea. Rig Veda and later Ved. Samhita and Brahman. We are talking about this. Samhita and Brahman. They say karma is equal to rituals. Humans' main duty is ritual. You are poor because goddess Lakshmi is not happy. Our right karmas are right rituals. I will not be able to work hard if luck will not favor me. In that case, I have to do rituals and make gods happy. My dead ancestor will go to gods if I will do the right rituals for him. If I will burn him properly. If I will do right pindadan for him. They say ritual is karma kand. According to them, karma is equal to rituals. Karma kand is the word they use. Against them came Aranyak. And Upanishad. They say karma is equal to human action. Shankaracharya say ritual is like a boat with hole. It cannot take you far. Zyada dur nahi le jayega. It will not take you far. It's your action who will take you far. Truth will win. Satyamev jayate. Not the king who has done the right Rajsuya or Hiranyagarbha. So Aranyak Upanishad started changing the meaning of karma. From karma as rituals, they say karma is human action. This all is Ved, Astik. Astik means believe in Ved, in the Brahmanic fold. Their language is Sanskrit. Against all this, Buddhism, Jainism developed. Jainism and Buddhism. It also says karma is equal to human action. That would lead you to the moksha. Moksha tak le jayega. It will help you end the suffering. They also talk about majority. According to them, suffering will end when Atma and Paramatma will merge. According to Jainism, suffering will end when you will achieve Kaivalya Gyan. According to Buddhism, suffering will end when you will achieve Upekha Bhav. All three call these stages as Nirvana. Moksha Nirvana, Moksha Nirvana, Moksha Nirvana, same discussion. Life is suffering, life is suffering, life is suffering, same discussion. I will end my suffering by my action, bhakti or gyan, whatever. Jainism say you will end your suffering by Kaivalya Gyan. Buddhism say you will end by your suffering. But human action has to change the suffering. Has to end the suffering. Karma is equal to human action. Morality is important. Human action is important. No God will come to help you. Then came another extreme. Ajivik, Charvak, Akriyavad, Uchchedvad, materialist philosophies, Shashwatvad, अज्ञानवाद, पकुद कच्चायन, संजय भेलपुत्र, अजित केस कमलिन, Makhli Ghoshal. Charvak are one of the most famous. Char, no Akash, only earth, fire, water. Earth, fire, water and wind, air. These are the only 4 things which exist. Space, Akash, ether is myth. They call themselves Charvak. They say theory of karma is rubbish. Karma is nothing. कुछ कर्म नहीं है. It is you fooling the people. Take a small child, beat him up as much as you want. Nothing bad will ever happen to you. If you are going to take an exam and you find a hungry person, a small child, beat him up. Nothing will happen. It is just to fool you. There is no swarg, no nark. Ajivik say everything is predestined. Charvak says I am not interested. Akriyavad says nothing gives you bad effect. It's all your mood. If I tell you I hit a man by my car and his legs break, you will say I am a papi person. I am a sinful person. But I just tell you, you ask me the explanation, I tell you he was a professional murderer and he was going to murder a family. Immediately in your eyes, my pap will turn as punya. And anything good will happen to me, you will associate with that event. Later you will find out that I have lied to you. Again that punya will turn into pap. Ye pap and punya is only the mental, all these emotions which come to you when you perform a job. Kuch nahi hai karma. Karma is nothing. Theory of karma is rubbish. Uchchedvad, whenever an event ends, it ends. Whenever life ends, it ends. You will take no rebirth. Koi rebirth nahi. Uchchedvad, annihilation. Shashvatvad, everything is permanent. 7 material, all 7 are permanent. It is just the interplay of the material. I am not responsible for my action. When I drink more liquor, I start doing something rubbish. When I drink water, I start becoming a good person. All this is 7 things coming. All are eternal. Agyanvad, I do not know what I do not know. Therefore, I suspend my judgment. These are materialistic schools. They say karma is nothing. Karma is a made-up thing, man-made. Humans do something, they generate an emotion, they call it pap punya. Charvak say morality is a myth. All of they say morality is nothing. Karma means morality. Your actions have no after effects. They say, Samhita Brahman say, just telling you, it's better to pour milk in a fire altar. Send it to gods. Milk jo hai, send it to gods. Best use of milk. Or as we say, pour it on Shivling. According to Samhita Brahman. Aranyak Upanishad, Jainism, Buddhism. They say best use of milk is give it to a hungry child. A hungry child sitting on the side of road, give him the milk. Aranyak Upanishad also say, Jainism, Buddhism also say. They say both are rubbish. Drink yourself. Take the milk, drink yourself. That is the only good use of milk. You are giving milk to a hungry child. Give it because child is hungry. But if you think giving milk to a hungry child will do something good for you, it's a myth. Nothing will happen. And that's why they say karma is nothing. They reject theory of karma. They are Nastic. Reject Veda. They write in Prakrit. They both say karma is human action. This could solve a lot of issues. They are materialist, absolute materialist. Materialism. No idea is important. Koi paap, punya, all these are ideas. They are just rubbish ideas. You can reject them whenever you want. Reject kya? They are rejected. It's just to make people fool. This can solve a lot of questions. When Indologists came to India in the 19th century, they say Indians are always worried about their afterlife. They always think about the issues which are beyond life. Not at all. Not at all. Some say Indian philosophies legitimize escapism. They may. Not at all. This life is important. They say honesty is the best policy. All these three may say honesty is the best policy. They say honesty is not important than survival. My survival is important. So just telling you, there are various ways to connect the topics. This is how these topics are connected. Philosophies are connected. Just want you to help understand that whenever questions are thrown to me, Indian philosophy lack materialism. Indian philosophies are more interested in the next life. Indian philosophies are escapist. Use this. If they say Buddhism, Jainism are against Hinduism or Brahmanism, use these two black circles. Believe in Ved, believe in rituals, write in Sanskrit, talk about one system. Reject Ved, reject rituals, language Prakrit, and so on. If it is asked how Vedic thought and Buddhism, Jainism are similar, use this circle. Whatever discussions Aranyak Upanishad started, Buddhism, Jainism further took it to pinnacle. If ever it is asked how Aranyak Upanishad are the pinnacle of Vedic thought, so obviously, first a small child who is studying, thinking money is important. But a rich person says, money is not important. My own survival is better, which it is a separate discussion, which I would love doing, but in some other video, not here. So how Aranyak and Upanishad are not against exactly this. They are the pinnacle of the thought. Rituals, further rituals, knowledge, philosophy. A student studying, doing job, earning money, using that knowledge for rituals. Aranyak, 50-year-old man who thinks more than money, family is important. A 90-year-old man on his deathbed, thinking where I come from, where I'll go. Where are my parents gone? Within 24 hours, I'll also die, God knows where. So these are the philosophical discussions a mature man is doing. Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyak, Upanishad. All are part of Ved. I have picked up a too elaborated discussion, but I want that every student should feel, every student should understand the questions of history are asked with the point of view of the someone who's setting it. I can also prove that British were good for this country. I can also prove that British were bad for this country. As a student, your job is not to say who's right, who's wrong. As a student, your job is to prepare yourself for both the types of questions. Pushyamitra Shung was a great man who saved Hinduism, is one view. Pushyamitra was a great evil who persecuted Buddhism, is another view. Ashok's Dhamma policy introduced morality in statecraft, one view. Ashok's Dhamma policy was too pacifist, which led to the decline of Mauryan Empire and arrival of Greeks and Scythians and other foreigners attacking India, is the another view. You should always be ready to have both the sides of you. We are not here to discuss which wing is right or wrong. As a student, your duty is to attain marks, and my duty is to help you get the marks. If question is asked, I said there was a time where we focused on independence of India. Slowly and slowly history will turn and will focus on the partition of India. Your duty is to prepare both. So first we have to know how all the literature is connected to each other. And UPSC knows all this, that Buddhism, Jainism is the main area of focus. Please check the last 10 years question paper. You will see they are asking from all this. Philosophy, Puran, Tantrism. Acha, their historical stories are called Itihas. Historical stories are called Itihas. Ramayana, Mahabharata. Last part of Puran is also called Itihas. Puran has 5 Panch Lakshan, Sarg, Pratisarg, Manvantar, Vansh, Vanshanucharit. These 2 are Itihas. So it also have Itihas in it. First, so you have to spend some time to know what is this. Then how this rigidity, how Vedic literature itself is dualist in nature. And then how that dualism pans out. And how all these are bound in one different also. So please, my humble request is not only the economic and social basis of history. Now history demands, UPSC demands, the changing fervor of this history writing demands that apart from economic and social history, we also should focus about the other aspects of history, the debates of history, and how it is same and how it is different. Jawaharlal Nehru, Vallabhbhai Patel said same thing, yes, but they also have some difference of the views. Bose and Gandhi had the same path, the same great leaders, very important for us, but also have their own personalities and point of view. You have to cover both the extremes of history. And that is very enjoyable, very easy. Apart from exams, you stand and talk to someone. So you should be able to win every debate. And the one who knows wins the debate. Even if you are the extreme right wing, even you are the extreme left wing, you will be able to win debate on the basis of your knowledge. Knowledge wins, not the right person wins. And that's why we hire such a high paid lawyers. Because we don't care how right or wrong I am. I know how right or wrong I am. But I hire a very high paid lawyer because I know a better lawyer wins. A knowledgeable student will be able to write the answer. Whenever you twist, if someone is good in the fundamentals of mathematics, you won't be able to twist him so easily. वो करते ना 0 से multiply, x into 0 is equal to 0, y into 0 is equal to 0, and then you say x equals to y. The one who has the fundamentals of math will easily tear apart your entire argument. But someone who has only learned the formulas of mathematics will always be confused by all this. He will say, bhai, x into 0 also 0, y into 0 also x equals to y. So just telling you, if you have the knowledge of the subject, if you can see the subject in front of you, with the help of all this, you will be able to answer all the questions. So main challenge is to control both the extremes, and that could only be done when you see the subject in front of you. It should be like a tree open in front of you. It is much more than this. It's just the beginning.